The Power Within: Mastering Your Emotions for a Better Life. Written by Gylmaan Odysseus, published by The Mystic Collection. Introduction. The Hidden Superpower of Emotional Control. Imagine a life where you can handle stress, confront challenges, and navigate difficult relationships with unwavering composure. Picture yourself responding thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, no matter the circumstance. What could you achieve with that kind of emotional mastery? How much more fulfilling, balanced, and meaningful could your life become? This audiobook is your guide to unlocking the transformative ability to understand, regulate, and channel your emotions effectively. This journey is more than just a lesson in emotional control. It's a blueprint for creating the life you've always envisioned. We all experience moments when emotions get the better of us, when anger flares, sadness takes over, or fear paralyzes us. These are human experiences, yet they don't have to define us. What sets emotionally resilient individuals apart is their ability to harness their emotions, making them allies rather than adversaries. This audiobook will teach you how to do just that. Our exploration begins with the foundation of emotional control, understanding the triggers that set us off and the underlying psychology of reactivity. From there, we'll dive into mindfulness, the art of the pause, and techniques like breathing exercises to create calm amidst chaos. You'll uncover the roots of emotional pain, learn to heal past wounds, and develop strategies to rewrite the habits that no longer serve you. Through real-life stories, practical exercises, and actionable strategies, you'll see how mastering your emotions can enhance your relationships, boost your decision-making, and transform your quality of life. You'll discover the ripple effect of emotional control, not just in your personal growth, but in how you inspire and influence those around you. This is not just an audiobook. It's a journey to reclaiming your inner power. By the end of this experience, you'll possess the tools to lead a life of calm clarity, unshakable resilience, and purpose. As you begin this life-altering adventure, remember this: the ability to master your emotions already exists within you. It's not something you have to find or earn. It's something you'll uncover and refine. The power is within you. Now, let's embark on this transformative journey together. Chapter 1. Understanding Emotional Triggers. Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed with anger, sadness, or anxiety in response to a seemingly small incident? Perhaps a colleague's passing comment left you fuming, or a familiar tone of voice triggered a wave of unease. These sudden emotional surges, which often feel uncontrollable, are known as emotional triggers. They are the keys to understanding the origins of our strongest reactions, and recognizing them is the first step in mastering your emotions. Emotional triggers are deeply personal, often rooted in past experiences or ingrained beliefs. They represent the intersection of memory and emotion, where unresolved pain or fear resurfaces in the present. For example, someone who experienced bullying during childhood might feel an intense wave of insecurity when teased as an adult. Another person who grew up feeling unheard may react disproportionately to being interrupted in a conversation. These reactions are less about the present moment and more about the echoes of past wounds. Understanding your emotional triggers isn't about blaming others or dismissing your feelings. Instead, it's an opportunity to turn inward and explore the roots of your emotional responses. This journey of introspection allows you to take back control over how you feel and respond, rather than being at the mercy of your triggers. Recognizing emotional triggers. The first step to understanding your emotional triggers is to become aware of them. Pay attention to situations, people, or even specific words that elicit a strong emotional reaction. Ask yourself, what just happened? What was said or done How did it make me feel? Is this reaction proportionate to the situation? Often these moments of intense emotion provide clues about deeper issues. For example, if criticism from your manager leaves you feeling disproportionately upset, it might stem from a fear of inadequacy developed over years of striving to prove your worth. Journaling can be a powerful tool to track these moments and uncover patterns. Write down situations where you felt triggered, along with your thoughts and emotions at the time. Over time, you may notice recurring themes that reveal your triggers more clearly. The default response. When faced with emotional triggers, our default response often kicks in before we've had a chance to process what's happening. This response is automatic, shaped by years of habits and experiences. Some people may lash out in anger, others may retreat into silence, while some might go into people-pleasing mode to diffuse tension. Identifying your default response is crucial for breaking free from reactive patterns. Reflect on your past reactions. Do you tend to raise your voice or argue? Do you withdraw and avoid confrontation? Do you over-apologize or try to fix everything immediately? These responses are neither good nor bad. They are simply your brain's way of protecting you from perceived threats. However, when left unchecked, they can cloud your judgment and escalate situations unnecessarily. The influence of past experiences. Many triggers are tied to unresolved emotions or experiences from the past. These can include childhood experiences, traumatic events, or repeated negative patterns in relationships. For instance, someone who grew up in a critical household may react defensively to even constructive feedback as an adult. Similarly, a person who experienced abandonment may feel intense fear or anger when they perceive a loved one pulling away. By identifying these past experiences, you can begin to untangle the connection between your history and your current emotions. This awareness doesn't erase the past, but helps you separate it from the present, giving you the power to respond more thoughtfully. Steps to take control of emotional triggers. Pause and reflect. When you notice a strong emotional reaction, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself what's really bothering you. Is it the situation at hand, or is it something deeper? Name your emotions. Putting words to your feelings can help you understand them better. For example, instead of saying, "I'm upset," try identifying the specific emotion. "I feel embarrassed," or "I feel undervalued." Explore the root cause. Think about whether this emotion is tied to a past experience or belief. If you felt this way before, what similarities exist between then and now? Challenge your beliefs. Sometimes our reactions are based on assumptions rather than facts. Ask yourself if the belief driving your reaction is valid. For example, does a friend cancelling plans really mean they don't care about you? Choose your response. Once you've paused, named your emotion, explored the root cause, and challenged your beliefs, you're in a better position to respond thoughtfully. This could mean calmly addressing the situation, setting a boundary, or even deciding that no response is necessary. The power of awareness. By understanding your emotional triggers, you take the first step toward emotional freedom. Awareness transforms your triggers from invisible forces controlling your reactions into opportunities for growth. Each time you recognize and navigate a trigger, you strengthen your ability to respond with clarity and intention. In this chapter, you've begun the journey of identifying and understanding the triggers that shape your emotions. In the next chapter, we'll explore the psychology of reactivity, diving deeper into why we react the way we do and how we can start to shift those patterns. The road to emotional mastery begins here, with awareness and a willingness to grow. Chapter 2. The Psychology of Reactivity. Emotions are an integral part of being human, but they can sometimes lead us astray. When we react impulsively, it often feels like our emotions are in control, leaving little room for rational thought. To master emotional regulation, we must first understand the psychology of reactivity, what drives it, and why it happens. Reactivity occurs when our brains perceive a threat, whether real or imagined, and respond instinctively. This response is rooted in the brain's survival mechanisms, which prioritize immediate action over deliberate reasoning. While these instincts were invaluable to our ancestors facing physical dangers, they can be less helpful in modern situations where the threats are often emotional or social in nature. The role of the amygdala. At the heart of emotional reactivity lies the amygdala, a small almond-shaped region in the brain that processes emotions and triggers our fight, flight, or freeze response. When the amygdala perceives a threat, it sends an alarm to the rest of the brain, often bypassing the rational thought processes of the prefrontal cortex. For example, if someone criticizes your work, your amygdala might interpret the criticism as a threat to your self-worth or status. This can lead to a reactive response, anger, defensiveness, or withdrawal, before you have a chance to consider whether the feedback is constructive or well-intentioned. The amygdala's response is fast and automatic, which is why reactivity feels almost instantaneous. However, the same mechanism that enables quick reactions also makes it challenging to respond thoughtfully in the heat of the moment. The prefrontal cortex, your rational ally. While the amygdala drives emotional reactivity, the prefrontal cortex is responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, and self-control. When the prefrontal cortex is engaged, it can temper the amygdala's impulses, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. The challenge lies in the fact that the amygdala often activates faster than the prefrontal cortex, especially in high-stress or emotionally charged situations. This creates a gap between reaction and response, where the impulse to act can override logical thought. The goal of emotional mastery is to widen this gap, giving the prefrontal cortex enough time to intervene. Triggers and conditioning. Our reactivity is often shaped by past experiences and conditioning. If you've repeatedly encountered criticism in the past, your brain may associate similar situations with danger, even if the current scenario is harmless. These learned patterns of reactivity become ingrained over time, forming default responses that can be difficult to break. Consider the following example. A child who grew up in a household where anger was expressed through shouting may develop a heightened sensitivity to raised voices. As an adult, this person might react defensively or anxiously whenever someone raises their voice, even if it's not directed at them. Understanding this connection between past experiences and present reactions is crucial for breaking free from reactive patterns. The cycle of reactivity. Reactivity often follows a predictable cycle. Trigger. An event or stimulus activates an emotional response. Emotion. The amygdala processes the trigger and generates an emotional reaction. Response. The prefrontal cortex either intervenes or fails to do so, leading to a reactive or deliberate response. Outcome. The response reinforces the brain's association between the trigger and the emotion, making future reactions more likely. Breaking this cycle requires interrupting the process at one or more stages, particularly by engaging the prefrontal cortex before reacting. Strategies to interrupt reactivity. Pause. Before responding, when you feel a surge of emotion, take a moment to pause. This pause creates space for the prefrontal cortex to engage and assess the situation more rationally. Practice deep breathing. Deep, slow breaths signal to your brain that you are not in immediate danger, calming the amygdala and reducing the intensity of your emotional response. Label your emotions. Naming your emotions activates the prefrontal cortex, helping you shift from a reactive state to a reflective one. For instance, instead of simply feeling angry, identify the underlying emotion. I feel disrespected. Reframe the situation. Challenge your initial interpretation of the trigger. Ask yourself if there could be an alternative explanation for what happened. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, consider the possibility that they are rushing to an emergency rather than deliberately disrespecting you. Engage in regular mindfulness practices. Mindfulness strengthens the connection between the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, making it easier to regulate emotions over time. Practices like meditation, body scans, and mindful observation can enhance your ability to stay present and reduce reactivity. The power of awareness is the cornerstone of interrupting reactivity. By becoming conscious of your triggers, emotional patterns, and default responses, you gain the ability to intervene before reacting impulsively. This awareness transforms reactive moments into opportunities for growth and self-mastery. Moving forward, understanding the psychology of reactivity empowers you to take control of your emotional responses. By recognizing the roles of the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, identifying patterns of conditioning, and implementing strategies to interrupt the cycle of reactivity, you can begin to replace impulsive reactions with thoughtful responses. In the next chapter, we will explore the art of pause, a powerful tool for cultivating awareness and staying grounded in the present moment. The ability to pause will serve as the foundation for building emotional resilience and fostering a calmer, more intentional approach to life. Chapter 3. The Art of the Pause. In the fast-paced world we live in, emotions often rush to the forefront, dictating our actions before we have a chance to think. Whether it's anger during a disagreement, anxiety in a high-pressure situation, or frustration when things don't go as planned, emotions can hijack our decision-making process in an instant. But what if we could take back control? What if, instead of reacting impulsively, we could choose how to respond? This is where the art of the pause comes in. Why pausing is a game-changer for emotional regulation. The pause is a simple but powerful tool in the practice of emotional regulation. It may seem like a small action, taking a few seconds to stop, breathe, and collect yourself, but its impact can be profound. In emotional moments, pausing creates space between stimulus, something that triggers you, and response, how you react. That moment of pause gives you the time and mental clarity to choose your reaction rather than being led by your emotions. In many cases, when we react without pausing, we end up saying or doing things we regret. Emotions take over, clouding our judgment and causing us to act in ways that are not aligned with our true intentions or values. By pausing, we have the power to break this cycle of reactionary behavior and make more intentional decisions. Practical techniques to create space between stimulus and response. The 3-second pause. One of the most effective and simplest techniques for pausing is to count to 3. When you feel the rush of emotion rising, stop and count to 3, slowly and deliberately. This may sound trivial, but it's incredibly powerful. The 3 seconds are long enough to disrupt the initial emotional impulse and help you regain control. During these 3 seconds, take a deep breath or focus on the present moment to ground yourself. Mindful breathing. Breathing is an automatic function, but consciously slowing and deepening your breath can have a calming effect on your nervous system. To incorporate mindful breathing during the pause, try this simple technique. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly for 4 seconds. This technique is known as box breathing and helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for calming your body. With practice, this breathing technique can bring you to a state of calm in a matter of seconds. I'll get back to you. Technique. In some situations, especially in conversations, it may be difficult to pause in the moment without creating tension. When you feel yourself about to react impulsively, simply say, "I need a moment to think about that." This gives you the space to reflect on your response and avoid saying something you might regret. It can also signal to others that you're taking the conversation seriously and considering your words carefully. The power of silence. Sometimes the most powerful form of pausing is doing nothing at all. In tense moments, remaining silent for a few seconds can allow emotions to settle. Silence is a tool that can be used to cool down heated conversations and give both parties time to reflect. When you don't immediately fill the space with words, you allow both your mind and the situation to calm before proceeding. Real-life scenarios to practice the pause. In personal conflicts, think about the last time you were in a disagreement with someone close to you. Perhaps it was a family member, a friend, or a partner. Emotions tend to run high in these situations, often leading to hurtful words or defensiveness. By pausing for just a few seconds before responding, you can avoid escalating the conflict. Instead of reacting from a place of anger or frustration, you create space to respond from a place of understanding and compassion. This pause allows you to choose a response that promotes resolution rather than deepening the argument. At work, the workplace is full of stressful situations, tight deadlines, challenging colleagues, high expectations. These stresses can trigger emotional responses that cloud our judgment and affect our performance. In moments of stress, pausing can help you regain your composure. For example, if you feel overwhelmed by a difficult task or a sudden problem, take a moment to breathe deeply and refocus. This pause can help you approach the challenge with a clear mind and a solution-oriented mindset. During emotional overwhelm, life doesn't always go according to plan. When faced with unexpected challenges, whether it's an emergency, a personal setback, or even a minor frustration, the impulse to react emotionally is strong. Taking a pause in these moments allows you to assess the situation, gather your thoughts, and regain emotional equilibrium. This space allows you to choose a response that aligns with your long-term goals rather than a reaction driven by temporary emotions. The power of pausing in everyday life. The art of pausing isn't limited to moments of crisis. It's a tool you can use every day to enhance emotional awareness and improve your interactions with others. The more you practice pausing, the more natural it becomes, and over time, it can transform how you respond to daily stresses. By learning to pause, you shift from being a passive recipient of your emotions to an active creator of your responses. By mastering the pause, you're also building emotional resilience. You're training yourself to stay calm in the face of challenges and to choose responses that align with your values and long-term aspirations. As you continue to practice this technique, you'll begin to notice a shift in your emotional landscape, fewer impulsive reactions, more thoughtful decisions, and a greater sense of inner peace. Chapter 4. Mastering Mindfulness. Mindfulness is often described as the art of being present in the moment, aware of your thoughts, feelings, and environment without judgment. It's a simple yet powerful practice that can help us take control of our emotions and responses, allowing us to create space between what's happening and how we react. In this chapter, we will explore the science behind mindfulness, its benefits for emotional regulation, and practical techniques you can use to cultivate mindfulness in your daily life. The science and benefits of mindfulness in emotional control. When we are fully present in the moment, we activate different parts of the brain that help us manage stress and regulate our emotions. Research has shown that mindfulness can decrease activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing fear and stress, while increasing activity in the prefrontal cortex, which helps with decision-making and emotional regulation. Mindfulness helps us tune into our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Instead of reacting to every impulse, mindfulness teaches us to observe our emotional responses as they arise. This creates a sense of detachment, allowing us to respond to situations thoughtfully rather than impulsively. The more we practice mindfulness, the greater our ability to control our reactions, especially in emotionally charged situations. Simple practices to cultivate presence and awareness. Mindful breathing. One of the most fundamental mindfulness practices is mindful breathing. By paying attention to our breath, we anchor ourselves in the present moment and create a sense of calm. To practice mindful breathing, sit comfortably and close your eyes. Focus on the sensation of the breath as it enters and leaves your body. If your mind begins to wander, gently bring your focus back to your breath. This practice can be done anywhere, anytime, and is especially useful when you feel yourself getting emotionally overwhelmed. Body scan meditation. A body scan is a practice where you mentally check in with different parts of your body, noticing any tension or discomfort without judgment. To perform a body scan, find a quiet space and lie down or sit comfortably. Starting from your toes, slowly move your attention up your body, pausing to notice any sensations in each area. This practice not only helps you become more aware of your physical state, but also calms your nervous system and brings you into the present moment. Mindful observation. Another simple way to practice mindfulness is through mindful observation. Take a few minutes to observe something in your environment, whether it's a tree, a flower, or even the movement of a clock. Focus on the details, the colors, textures, shapes, and sounds. Allow yourself to fully experience the object or scene without distraction or judgment. This practice helps you become more aware of the present moment and encourages you to let go of past or future worries. Mindful walking. Walking can also be a mindfulness practice when you bring your full attention to the experience of walking. Pay attention to each step, the movement of your legs, the feel of the ground beneath your feet, the air around you. As you walk, notice the sounds, smells, and sights around you. By practicing mindful walking, you can integrate mindfulness into your daily routine, turning a simple activity into an opportunity for self-awareness and emotional regulation. Overcoming common barriers to mindfulness. Despite its benefits, many people find it challenging to maintain mindfulness, especially in our busy, distraction-filled world. Here are some common barriers and how to overcome them. Restlessness and distraction. It's normal for the mind to wander, especially when you're first starting mindfulness practices. Instead of becoming frustrated with yourself, gently guide your attention back to your breath or the task at hand. Mindfulness is about the practice of returning to the present moment, not about achieving perfection. The more you practice, the less distracted you will become. Impatience. Mindfulness is a skill that takes time to develop. It's easy to become impatient if you don't see immediate results. But like any skill, mindfulness requires regular practice. Start with small, manageable sessions and gradually increase the time you spend in practice. Over time, you'll notice a greater sense of calm and emotional clarity. Judgment. Another barrier to mindfulness is the tendency to judge yourself or your thoughts. Mindfulness is about observing without judgment, simply noticing what's happening without labeling it as good or bad. If you catch yourself judging, gently bring your focus back to the practice, remembering that there's no right or wrong way to be mindful. Busy schedule. It's easy to think that mindfulness requires a lot of time and quiet space, but it doesn't. You can practice mindfulness in the middle of a busy day. Whether you're sitting in traffic, waiting in line, or taking a break at work, these moments can become opportunities to practice mindfulness. Even short bursts of mindful awareness can have a lasting impact on your emotional state. The power of mindfulness in emotional regulation. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for emotional regulation because it helps you observe your emotional responses without being overwhelmed by them. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to notice your thoughts and feelings as they arise, but you don't have to act on them immediately. This gives you time to choose your response based on your values and long-term goals, rather than reacting impulsively. Over time, mindfulness helps you become more aware of your emotional patterns, allowing you to break free from habitual reactions. You'll find that you become less reactive and more able to respond thoughtfully, even in challenging situations. Integrating mindfulness into your life. The key to mindfulness is consistency. The more you practice, the more it becomes a natural part of your life. By integrating mindfulness into your daily routine, you'll notice that your ability to regulate your emotions improves, and you become more present and engaged in all areas of your life. Remember, mindfulness is not about achieving a state of perfect calm or eliminating all negative emotions. It's about developing the awareness and tools to navigate your emotions with greater ease and intention. By mastering mindfulness, you gain the ability to remain grounded even in the most challenging circumstances. Chapter 5. Breathing your way to calm. The way we breathe is something we often take for granted. It's a basic, involuntary function that keeps us alive. But what if we could harness the power of our breath to control our emotions? In this chapter, we'll explore the profound link between breath and emotions, how different breathing techniques can reduce stress, and how to incorporate these techniques into your daily life to help you stay calm in any situation. The link between breath and emotions. Breath is intimately connected with our emotional state. When we're stressed, anxious or angry, our breath becomes shallow, rapid, and uneven. In contrast, when we're relaxed, our breath slows, becomes deeper, and is more consistent. This connection between breath and emotions is rooted in the body's autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions like heart rate, digestion, and breathing. There are two branches of the autonomic nervous system that play a key role in how our body responds to emotions: the sympathetic nervous system, SNS, and the parasympathetic nervous system, PNS. The SNS is responsible for the fight-or-flight response, which prepares the body for action in stressful situations. This causes an increase in heart rate, shallow breathing, and muscle tension. On the other hand, the PNS triggers the body's relaxation response, slowing the heart rate, deepening the breath, and calming the body. When we focus on our breath, we activate the PNS and move ourselves out of the fight-or-flight mode and into a state of calm. By consciously controlling our breath, we can regain emotional balance, reduce stress, and return to a more centered state of mind. Step-by-step breathing exercises to reduce stress. Instantly diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing. This is the most fundamental form of deep breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing involves using the diaphragm, the muscle that separates your chest and abdomen, to take deep, full breaths. How to practice. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen. Breathe in deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to rise as your lungs fill with air. Your chest should remain relatively still. Exhale slowly through your mouth, letting your abdomen fall. Repeat this process for 5 to 10 minutes. Focus on the rise and fall of your abdomen with each breath. Benefits. This exercise activates the PNS and helps to lower your heart rate and blood pressure, promoting a sense of calm. It also improves oxygen flow to your body, which can reduce feelings of anxiety and stress. Box breathing. Box breathing, also known as four-square breathing, is a simple and effective technique for calming the mind and body. How to practice. Sit in a comfortable position with your spine straight. Inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 4. Pause and hold your breath for a count of 4. Repeat for 3 to 5 cycles. Benefits. Box breathing helps regulate the breath, reduces stress, and promotes focus. It's especially effective in situations where you need to calm your nerves quickly, such as before a presentation, during a stressful conversation, or in moments of overwhelming anxiety. 4-7-8. Breathing. The 4-7-8 breathing technique is designed to relax the nervous system and promote a sense of peace. How to practice. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and breathe in quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Exhale slowly and completely through your mouth for a count of 8. Repeat this cycle for 3 to 4 breaths. Benefits. This technique is particularly useful for calming the mind before bed or after a stressful day. It helps reduce anxiety and promotes deeper, more restful sleep by signaling to the body that it's time to relax. Alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. This ancient yogic practice is known for its ability to balance the mind and calm the nervous system. How to practice. Sit in a comfortable position with your spine straight and shoulders relaxed. Close your right nostril with your right thumb and inhale deeply through your left nostril. Close your left nostril with your right ring finger and hold your breath for a moment. Release your right nostril and exhale slowly through the right side. Inhale deeply through the right nostril, then close it and exhale through the left nostril. Continue alternating nostrils for 5 to 10 minutes. Benefits. Alternate nostril breathing helps calm the mind, reduce stress, and enhance concentration. It also balances the left and right sides of the brain, fostering emotional harmony and mental clarity. Incorporating breathing techniques into daily life. While these techniques are incredibly powerful, they are most effective when practiced regularly, not just during moments of stress. By integrating breathing exercises into your daily routine, you can create a sense of balance and calm that helps you handle life's challenges with greater ease. Here are some ways to make breathing exercises part of your daily life. Morning rituals. Start your day with 5 to 10 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing or box breathing. This can set a positive tone for the day and help you feel grounded before jumping into your routine. Throughout the day. Whenever you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, take a moment to focus on your breath. Even just 2 to 3 minutes of mindful breathing can make a significant difference in how you feel. Before bed, use the 4-7-8 technique or another calming breath exercise before going to sleep. This can help signal to your body that it's time to wind down and promote better, more restful sleep. The transformative power of breath. Breathing may seem like an automatic function, but when we harness its power, it becomes an incredibly effective tool for managing our emotions. Conscious breathwork not only calms the body, but also soothes the mind, helping us navigate stress with clarity and calmness. By incorporating these techniques into your daily routine, you'll find that you can more easily manage stressful situations, reduce anxiety, and maintain a sense of emotional balance. The power to remain calm in any situation is right under your nose, literally. Chapter 6. Healing Emotional Wounds. Emotional wounds are an inevitable part of the human experience. We all carry scars from past events, whether it's from childhood, past relationships, or personal setbacks. These emotional injuries can shape our behaviors, influence our reactions, and affect our ability to fully engage with the present. However, just as physical wounds can heal with the right care and attention, emotional wounds can be healed too. In this chapter, we'll explore the nature of unresolved emotional pain, how it affects our lives, and the tools and practices that can help us heal and release these wounds for good. Understanding unresolved emotional pain and its impact. Emotional pain, like physical pain, often comes from a deep sense of hurt or loss. Whether we've experienced trauma, betrayal, rejection, or grief, our emotions respond by creating protective mechanisms. These mechanisms may manifest as defensive behaviors, avoidance, or even self-sabotaging tendencies. Over time, if these emotional wounds are left untreated, they can begin to dictate our reactions, create barriers in relationships, and prevent us from living life fully. Unresolved emotional pain also has a physiological impact. When we suppress or ignore our feelings, they can become trapped in the body. This can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and even physical illness. The body's nervous system, which is closely linked to emotional responses, can become overactive when emotions are left unaddressed. In turn, this can lead to a constant state of fight or flight, which undermines our overall well-being. Healing emotional wounds requires recognizing that we've been hurt, acknowledging the pain, and taking conscious steps to release the emotional energy that has been stored within us. It's a process of acceptance, forgiveness, and ultimately, letting go. Tools for processing and releasing emotional baggage. Journaling for emotional clarity. Journaling is one of the most powerful tools for healing emotional wounds. Writing allows us to express our thoughts and feelings in a safe and non-judgmental space. It helps us process emotions that may otherwise remain hidden beneath the surface. How to use journaling for healing. Begin by writing about the emotional wounds you've experienced. You might start by recalling specific events that caused you pain or discomfort. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that arise as you write. This is not the time to suppress or censor yourself. Let the words flow freely, without judgment. Reflect on the lessons you've learned from these experiences. How have these wounds shaped who you are today? What can you release in order to move forward? You can also use journaling to write letters to people who have hurt you without sending them. Express your feelings of anger, sadness, or hurt. Then write a follow-up letter where you forgive them and, even more importantly, forgive yourself. Journaling not only helps release pent-up emotions, but also helps bring clarity to our inner world. It allows us to see our pain from a new perspective and begin to process it in a healthy way. Visualization for emotional release. Visualization is a powerful tool for healing because it taps into the subconscious mind. Through visualization, we can create new mental images that promote emotional healing and shift the energy of painful memories. How to use visualization for healing. Find a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths to center yourself. Visualize the emotional wound or painful memory. See it as an image or a color in your mind. Imagine sending healing light or energy to that part of your mind and body where the wound resides. See this light dissolving the pain and filling the area with warmth, peace, and healing energy. Picture yourself letting go of the emotional baggage. Visualize the wound healing and transforming into something positive, like a lesson learned or a new strength gained. This visualization practice allows you to reframe the emotional wound and release its hold on your life. It encourages healing from within by creating new, empowering mental images. Forgiveness and letting go. One of the most powerful ways to heal emotional wounds is through forgiveness. Holding on to resentment and anger only prolongs emotional suffering and keeps us stuck in the past. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing the wrongs done to you. It means releasing the hold that anger and bitterness have on your life. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of past hurt. How to practice forgiveness. Begin by acknowledging the pain you feel and the person or situation responsible for it. Understand that forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for your own peace of mind. Holding on to anger and resentment hurts you more than anyone else. Say to yourself, "I forgive you and I release this pain." Visualize the emotional burden lifting from your body and mind as you let go. Repeat this process as often as needed. Sometimes forgiveness takes time, and that's okay. Be patient with yourself as you go through this process. Forgiveness is an act of self-care. It may not be easy, but it is essential for healing emotional wounds and moving forward in life. Seeking professional help. Sometimes, healing emotional wounds requires external support. If you've experienced trauma or if your emotional wounds feel too overwhelming to handle alone, seeking the help of a therapist or counselor can be incredibly beneficial. Therapy provides a safe space to explore your emotions, uncover underlying patterns, and develop healthier coping strategies. A professional can help guide you through the process of healing by offering tools, techniques, and a compassionate, objective perspective. Therapy can also help address deeper, unconscious wounds that may not be accessible through self-help techniques alone, releasing the past and embracing the present. Healing emotional wounds is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. As you continue to practice forgiveness, self-compassion, and emotional release, you'll begin to feel lighter, more empowered, and more in control of your emotional life. You'll notice that your reactions become less intense, and you'll find it easier to live in the present moment without being burdened by the past. Healing is about releasing the past and reclaiming your personal power. It's about choosing to let go of old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve you, and embracing a life of emotional freedom and peace. Chapter 7. Emotional Intelligence. Fundamentals. Emotional intelligence, also known as emotional quotient, EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as the ability to recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. Unlike traditional measures of intelligence, IQ, which focus on cognitive abilities, EQ is a set of skills that play a crucial role in how we navigate our social world, build relationships, and respond to challenges. In this chapter, we will break down the key components of emotional intelligence, explore how EQ can improve our relationships and decision-making, and share strategies for practicing empathy and self-awareness to enhance our emotional intelligence. Breaking down the components of emotional intelligence. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, who popularized the concept of emotional intelligence, identified 5 key components that make up EQ. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. It involves being in tune with your feelings and recognizing the impact your emotions have on your actions. This component is foundational for emotional intelligence, as it helps you make conscious decisions and act in a way that aligns with your values. How to practice self-awareness. Regularly check in with yourself. Pause during the day to notice how you're feeling, both physically and emotionally. Ask yourself questions like, what emotions am I experiencing right now? And How is this affecting my behavior? Keep a journal to reflect on your emotional experiences. This can help you identify patterns in your reactions and gain insight into how different situations affect you. Develop mindfulness practices such as meditation or deep breathing to help you stay grounded in the present moment and increase your awareness of your emotions. Self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to manage your emotions healthily and constructively. It's about not allowing your emotions to control you, but rather using them to guide your actions in a way that aligns with your goals. Self-regulation helps you stay calm under pressure, manage stress, and maintain composure in challenging situations. How to practice self-regulation. Pause before reacting. When you feel strong emotions arising, take a moment to breathe and think before responding. This pause gives you time to choose your response rather than simply reacting impulsively. Practice emotional detachment in tense situations. By stepping back and viewing the situation objectively, you can avoid being swept away by your emotions. Use techniques like journaling, meditation, or deep breathing to help you calm your mind when you're feeling overwhelmed. Motivation. Motivation in emotional intelligence refers to the ability to stay driven and focused on long-term goals despite setbacks and obstacles. People with high emotional intelligence are often self-motivated, resilient, and persistent. They have an internal drive to achieve their goals and align their emotions with their aspirations. How to foster motivation. Set clear, achievable goals for yourself. Break larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks to maintain momentum. Cultivate a positive mindset by focusing on progress rather than perfection. Celebrate small wins along the way to stay motivated. Use affirmations or visualization techniques to remind yourself of your why and stay connected to your deeper purpose. Empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's an essential component of emotional intelligence because it allows you to connect with people on a deeper level, build trust, and respond compassionately to their needs. Empathy enables effective communication and helps create meaningful relationships. How to practice empathy. Listen actively. Instead of thinking about your response while someone is speaking, focus entirely on what the other person is saying and how they are feeling. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Try to understand their perspective and emotional experience. Respond with understanding and compassion. Show that you care by acknowledging the other person's feelings and offering support when needed. Social skills. Social skills refer to the ability to interact harmoniously with others. People with high emotional intelligence can communicate clearly, resolve conflicts, collaborate effectively, and inspire others. Strong social skills help you build and maintain positive relationships both personally and professionally. How to enhance social skills. Practice active listening and maintain eye contact during conversations to demonstrate interest and build rapport. Be mindful of nonverbal cues, such as body language and facial expressions, as they convey emotions and influence how your message is received. Work on conflict resolution skills. Practice addressing disagreements calmly, finding common ground, and seeking solutions that benefit everyone involved. Using EQ to improve relationships and decision-making. Having high emotional intelligence is incredibly valuable in both personal and professional settings. When you understand your emotions and those of others, you can build stronger, more meaningful relationships, communicate more effectively, and resolve conflicts with greater ease. In relationships, EQ helps you navigate challenges with empathy and understanding. When you practice empathy and self-regulation, you're better able to handle disagreements without letting emotions escalate, Your ability to listen actively and respond compassionately creates a deeper connection with others, fostering trust and intimacy. In decision-making, emotional intelligence helps you stay grounded and rational. By being aware of your emotions and how they influence your choices, you can make more thoughtful, informed decisions. Instead of reacting impulsively or letting emotions cloud your judgment, you can assess situations objectively and choose a course of action that aligns with your long-term goals. Strategies for practicing empathy and self-awareness. Practice. Active listening. Active listening involves paying full attention to the speaker, asking clarifying questions, and reflecting back what you've heard. It shows that you value the other person's perspective and helps you respond in a way that addresses their needs. Seek feedback. One of the best ways to increase self-awareness is to seek feedback from others. Ask trusted friends, colleagues, or mentors for honest feedback about how you come across emotionally and how you handle challenging situations. Engage in empathy exercises. Practice imagining what others are feeling in different situations. This can be done through role-playing exercises or simply by observing others' reactions and trying to understand their emotions. Reflect regularly. Take time each day to reflect on your interactions and emotional responses. What went well? What could you have handled better? Self-reflection helps you grow and improve your emotional intelligence over time. The power of emotional intelligence. Developing emotional intelligence is not a one-time effort. It's an ongoing practice that pays off in all areas of life. Whether it's improving your personal relationships, advancing in your career, or navigating life's challenges with resilience, EQ is the key to emotional mastery and overall success. As you continue to grow your emotional intelligence, you'll notice profound changes in how you interact with the world. You'll find it easier to stay calm under pressure, connect with others on a deeper level, and make decisions that align with your values and goals. Emotional intelligence isn't just a skill, it's a way of being that allows you to thrive in every aspect of life. Chapter 8. Rewriting Emotional Habits. Emotional habits are patterns of emotional responses we have developed over time. These automatic reactions, often rooted in past experiences, can shape our behavior and influence how we navigate the world. Whether we realize it or not, our emotional habits are driving much of our daily life, how we respond to stress, how we interact with others, and even how we perceive ourselves. While some emotional habits may be healthy and productive, many of us have learned patterns of reactivity that are harmful, limiting, or unproductive. The good news is that these emotional habits can be rewired. In this chapter, we'll explore how to identify and transform your emotional habits, how to replace unhelpful reactions with more thoughtful responses, and how to build healthier emotional patterns that serve your goals and well-being. Identifying your default emotional responses. Before we can change our emotional habits, we first need to become aware of them. Emotional habits often develop unconsciously and can be difficult to identify, especially if we've been responding in the same way for years. To begin rewriting these habits, it's essential to recognize the default emotional responses that arise in different situations. Consider the following questions to help identify your emotional habits. How do you typically respond to stress or pressure? Do you become anxious, angry, withdrawn, or overwhelmed? What is your default reaction in conflict situations? Do you tend to shut down, argue, or avoid confrontation altogether? How do you respond to success or achievement? Do you celebrate your wins or downplay them? When things go wrong, how do you handle disappointment or failure? Do you blame yourself, others, or try to avoid the discomfort of failure? By reflecting on these common emotional triggers, you can start to uncover the habitual responses that may be hindering your personal growth or creating unnecessary emotional turmoil. This self-awareness is the first step in changing those patterns. Methods to rewire. Habitual reactions. Once you've identified your default emotional responses, it's time to take action and begin rewiring them. Changing emotional habits requires intentionality and patience, as we are essentially creating new neural pathways in the brain. However, with consistent effort, new emotional habits can be established. Mindful awareness and the power of the pause. One of the most effective tools for rewiring emotional habits is mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness, you cultivate the ability to notice your emotional reactions as they arise without judgment. This awareness allows you to pause before responding automatically and choose a more thoughtful and deliberate course of action. How to use the pause. When you feel a strong emotion, anger, frustration, anxiety, etc., take a brief pause, just a few seconds to stop and breathe. During this pause, observe the emotion without reacting to it. Notice where you feel it in your body, the thoughts that accompany it, and the urges to react. Ask yourself, is this the response I want to have? Is this reaction serving my best interests? After this brief moment of reflection, choose a more constructive response, whether it's taking a deep breath, responding with empathy, or calmly walking away. By incorporating this pause into your daily life, you can break the cycle of habitual emotional reactions and replace them with more thoughtful, intentional responses. Cognitive reframing. Cognitive reframing is the practice of changing the way we interpret and think about a situation. Often, our emotional reactions are based on distorted or unhelpful thoughts. For example, if you automatically believe that a challenging situation means you're failing, you're more likely to feel anxious or defeated. How to reframe your thoughts. When you find yourself reacting emotionally, pause and examine your thoughts. What story are you telling yourself about the situation? Challenge any negative or unhelpful beliefs. Is the situation really as bad as it seems? Are you making assumptions that aren't based on facts? Replace these thoughts with a more positive or realistic perspective. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm a failure," try, "I didn't succeed this time, but I can learn from this experience and try again." Reframing helps you shift your emotional response by changing the underlying beliefs and thoughts driving that reaction. Practice self-compassion. Often, our emotional habits are rooted in self-criticism or fear of failure. We may be quick to judge ourselves harshly when things don't go as planned or when we experience setbacks. Self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend in a similar situation. How to practice self-compassion. When you make a mistake or experience a failure, instead of beating yourself up, take a moment to acknowledge your humanity. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes and that this is an opportunity for growth. Practice speaking to yourself kindly. Use affirmations like, "It's okay to not be perfect," or "I'm doing the best I can, and that's enough." If you find yourself feeling guilty or ashamed, ask yourself if you would judge someone else in the same way. If not, give yourself the same grace. Self-compassion helps break the cycle of negative self-talk and emotional reactivity, replacing it with a more balanced and positive outlook. Building healthier emotional patterns. Rewriting emotional habits involves replacing old, unproductive reactions with new, healthier emotional patterns. This requires consistency and commitment, but is entirely possible with practice. How to build healthier patterns. Set specific emotional goals. For example, I want to respond to stress with calm and clarity, or I want to handle conflict with empathy and understanding. Track your progress. Keep a journal or use a mood tracker app to monitor your emotional responses and reflect on how you handle different situations. Reinforce positive behaviors. Celebrate small victories when you successfully manage an emotional situation in a way that aligns with your new habits. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage and model emotional intelligence. Positive social interactions can reinforce healthier emotional responses. Over time, these healthier emotional patterns will become second nature. You'll find it easier to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, and you'll develop greater emotional resilience in the face of challenges. The importance of patience and persistence. Rewriting. Emotional habits is not a quick fix. It's a long-term commitment to emotional growth and self-improvement. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to embrace discomfort during the process. There will be setbacks along the way, and some emotional habits may take longer to change than others. However, with consistent practice and a growth mindset, you'll begin to notice profound changes in how you respond to life's challenges. Each time you choose a healthier emotional response over an automatic reactive one, you're rewiring your brain and creating a new habit. Over time, these new habits will become your default, and you'll find yourself navigating the world with greater emotional mastery and resilience. Chapter 9. The Role of Self-Compassion. In our pursuit of personal growth and emotional mastery, one of the most important tools we can cultivate is self-compassion. It's easy to be kind and understanding toward others when they make mistakes, but when it comes to ourselves, we often fall into the trap of harsh self-criticism and judgment. We may hold ourselves to impossible standards, constantly striving for perfection and beating ourselves up when we fall short. Self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness, care, and understanding that you would offer to a close friend or loved one. It's an essential component of emotional control, helping us to build resilience, bounce back from setbacks, and cultivate a more balanced and peaceful relationship with ourselves. In this chapter, we will explore why self-compassion is vital for emotional well-being, how it supports emotional regulation, and practical strategies for fostering self-compassion in your daily life. Why self-compassion is key to emotional control. Emotional control is not about suppressing or ignoring emotions. It's about responding to emotions in a healthy and constructive way. Without self-compassion, we may find ourselves overwhelmed by negative emotions such as guilt, shame, or frustration, which can derail our efforts to manage our feelings effectively. When we are compassionate with ourselves, we create a safe space to experience emotions without judgment, allowing us to process and release them more easily. Self-compassion helps us recognize that we are human, and as humans, we are bound to make mistakes, experience failure, and face challenges. Rather than viewing these setbacks as evidence of inadequacy or personal failure, self-compassion allows us to embrace them as opportunities for growth. By practicing self-compassion, we build the emotional resilience to face difficult emotions without being consumed by them. In contrast, a lack of self-compassion can lead to negative emotional spirals. When we're overly critical of ourselves, we may become trapped in cycles of shame or self-doubt, making it harder to regulate our emotions and take constructive action. Self-compassion, on the other hand, provides the emotional support we need to face our difficulties with grace and understanding. The science behind self-compassion. Research has shown that self-compassion is linked to a variety of positive psychological outcomes, including increased emotional well-being, reduced anxiety and depression, and improved resilience in the face of stress. Dr. Kristin Neff, one of the leading researchers on self-compassion, defines it as consisting of three key components: self-kindness, treating yourself with warmth and understanding, especially during times of failure or difficulty; common humanity, recognizing that suffering and imperfection are part of the human experience, not something unique to you. Mindfulness, being aware of your emotions and experiences in a balanced way, without over-identifying with negative feelings or ignoring them. These components work together to create a sense of emotional balance and inner peace. When we practice self-compassion, we acknowledge our suffering without becoming overwhelmed by it, and we remind ourselves that we are not alone in our struggles. This perspective shifts the way we experience emotional challenges, making them more manageable and less emotionally draining. Strategies to overcome self-criticism and foster resilience. Overcoming self-criticism and cultivating self-compassion is an ongoing process that requires practice and mindfulness. Here are some practical strategies to help you develop a kinder, more compassionate relationship with yourself. Challenge negative self-talk. One of the most common barriers to self-compassion is the harsh inner critic. We often engage in negative self-talk, telling ourselves that we're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. The next time you notice this inner dialogue, pause and challenge it. Ask yourself if you would say the same things to a friend in a similar situation. Likely the answer is no. Instead of berating yourself, replace the criticism with kinder, more supportive statements. For example, I made a mistake, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure. I can learn from this and do better next time. Practice self-compassionate touch. Physical touch can have a calming and soothing effect on the nervous system. When you're feeling stressed, anxious, or upset, try gently placing your hand on your heart or hugging yourself. This simple gesture can trigger feelings of comfort and support, helping you to reconnect with a sense of self-compassion. Write a self-compassionate letter. Take a few minutes to write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a compassionate friend. Acknowledge your struggles and mistakes, but offer words of encouragement, understanding, and reassurance. This exercise can help you cultivate a more compassionate mindset and remind you of your inherent worth, regardless of your imperfections. Practice mindful awareness. Mindfulness is the practice of observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you experience negative emotions such as guilt, shame, or frustration, take a moment to simply observe them. Instead of reacting with self-criticism, allow yourself to feel the emotion without labeling it as bad or wrong. With mindfulness, you can recognize and process emotions in a way that is less likely to lead to self-judgment or emotional suppression. Engage in positive self-affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that can help reframe negative thought patterns and reinforce a compassionate mindset. Create a list of affirmations that resonate with you, such as, I am worthy of love and respect, I am doing my best, and that is enough, or I am allowed to make mistakes and learn from them. Repeat these affirmations daily, especially during times of stress or self-doubt. Forgive yourself. One of the most powerful ways to practice self-compassion is through self-forgiveness. When you make a mistake or fail at something, resist the urge to dwell on guilt or shame. Instead, recognize that you are human and that errors are part of the learning process. Offer yourself forgiveness and let go of the weight of past mistakes. This will free you to move forward with a greater sense of peace and emotional clarity. Self-compassion as a foundation for emotional mastery. Ultimately, self-compassion is the foundation of emotional mastery. Without it, we risk becoming overwhelmed by our emotions, constantly battling our inner critic and struggling to regulate our feelings in a healthy way. With self-compassion, we create the emotional space necessary for healing, growth, and change. When we treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, we are better able to face difficult emotions and experiences with grace and resilience. Self-compassion empowers us to accept our imperfections and learn from our mistakes, rather than allowing them to define us. It also strengthens our emotional resilience, helping us bounce back from setbacks and continue on our journey of personal growth. As you continue to cultivate self-compassion, you'll notice profound changes in your emotional life. You'll be less reactive to stress, less self-critical in the face of challenges, and more at peace with yourself. Self-compassion isn't just about being kind to yourself in the moment. It's about creating a foundation of emotional health that supports your long-term well-being and success. Chapter 10. Navigating difficult relationships. Relationships are one of the most significant aspects of our lives, influencing our emotions, behaviors, and overall well-being. Whether it's with family, friends, co-workers, or romantic partners, the dynamics of these relationships can bring both joy and frustration. The challenge, however, lies in managing relationships when emotions run high, conflicts arise, or there are unresolved issues that create tension. Emotional control and mindfulness are crucial tools when navigating difficult relationships. In this chapter, we'll explore strategies for managing emotional triggers within relationships, effective communication techniques for conflict resolution, and the importance of setting healthy boundaries to protect your emotional well-being. Managing emotional triggers in relationships. Difficult relationships often provoke strong emotional reactions. These can range from irritation to deep frustration, anger, or even sadness. The first step in navigating these relationships is understanding why these emotions arise. Often, our emotional reactions in relationships are tied to personal triggers, unresolved issues from the past, unmet needs, or expectations that aren't being fulfilled. Identifying and understanding your emotional triggers is crucial for emotional regulation in relationships. When you're triggered, you might feel like your emotions are taking over, leading to impulsive reactions. This can escalate conflicts, strain communication, and damage trust. Instead of letting emotions control the interaction, take a step back and recognize your triggers. How to manage triggers. Self-awareness. The more you understand your triggers, the better you can anticipate and manage them. Pay attention to patterns in your emotional responses. Do certain behaviors, words, or situations consistently spark a reaction in you? This awareness will give you the opportunity to pause before reacting. Pause and breathe. In moments when you feel triggered, take a brief pause. Breathe deeply to center yourself. This pause allows you to separate your emotional reaction from your response. Rather than reacting impulsively, you can respond thoughtfully and with greater emotional clarity. Empathy. Try to understand the perspective of the other person involved. Are they also dealing with their own emotional triggers or challenges? Practicing empathy helps you respond with compassion rather than defensiveness. Effective communication. During conflict is an inevitable part of any relationship, but how we handle conflict can either strengthen or damage our connections with others. Effective communication is key to resolving conflicts constructively and maintaining healthy relationships. When emotions are high, communication can easily become distorted. People often speak from a place of hurt or frustration, rather than focusing on resolving the issue. This is where emotional control becomes vital. Here are some techniques for communicating effectively during a conflict. Use I statements. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," reframe the statement as, "I feel unheard when my concerns aren't acknowledged." I statements focus on your feelings and experiences, reducing blame and helping the other person understand your perspective without feeling attacked. Active listening. Practice active listening, which involves fully concentrating on what the other person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Show empathy and understanding by reflecting back what you've heard, such as, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated because I didn't follow through on that task. Is that right?" This helps validate the other person's emotions and shows that you're engaged in the conversation. Stay calm and non-confrontational. During heated moments, try to stay calm and avoid escalating the situation. If necessary, suggest taking a break to cool down and return to the conversation when both parties are ready to engage more constructively. Focus on solutions. Rather than focusing on the problem, steer the conversation toward solutions. Ask, "How can we resolve this issue?" Or, "What can we do to prevent this from happening again?" This helps shift the focus from blame to collaboration. Setting boundaries to protect your emotional energy. One of the most essential aspects of navigating difficult relationships is the ability to set and maintain healthy boundaries. Boundaries are the limits we set in relationships to protect our emotional well-being, energy, and personal space. Without clear boundaries, we can become emotionally drained, overwhelmed, or even resentful. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away or being rigid. It's about communicating your needs in a way that fosters respect and understanding. Boundaries are necessary for maintaining a healthy relationship with yourself and others. How to set healthy boundaries. Know your limits. Start by understanding your own needs and limits. What makes you feel drained, disrespected, or overwhelmed in a relationship? These are the areas where you need to set clear boundaries. For example, if you're someone who needs alone time to recharge, it's important to communicate that you require personal space without feeling guilty. Be direct and assertive. When setting boundaries, be clear and direct about what you need. Avoid vague language or being overly passive. For example, instead of saying, "I need a little space," say, "I need 30 minutes alone to clear my mind after work." Being specific helps others understand your needs and reduces the chance of misunderstandings. Stay consistent. Setting boundaries requires consistency. People may test your boundaries, especially if they're used to you being accommodating or not voicing your needs. It's important to stick to your boundaries and reinforce them if necessary. If you allow someone to cross a boundary once, they may expect that behavior in the future. Respect others' boundaries. Just as you set boundaries, it's essential to respect the boundaries of others. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect. If someone tells you they need space, time, or a specific way of communicating, honor that request without judgment. The role of emotional regulation in difficult relationships. Emotional regulation is the key to maintaining peace, clarity, and understanding in difficult relationships. It allows us to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. When we regulate our emotions, we don't just protect ourselves from emotional burnout, we also create an environment for others to feel heard, respected, and valued. By practicing emotional control, active listening, empathy, and setting healthy boundaries, we foster more harmonious relationships. We recognize that conflict doesn't have to be destructive. It can be an opportunity for growth and greater mutual understanding. Ultimately, the ability to navigate difficult relationships with emotional awareness and control enhances our personal growth and strengthens our connections with others. By responding with compassion, clarity, and respect, we can turn challenging interactions into opportunities for deeper connection and positive change. Chapter 11. Staying calm in chaos. Life often throws us into chaotic situations, high-stress environments, unexpected challenges, or moments of conflict that can leave us feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or even helpless. Whether it's a sudden emergency at work, an argument with a loved one, or an unforeseen financial setback, The ability to maintain composure during these moments can make all the difference in how we respond and the outcome we achieve. In this chapter, we'll explore techniques for staying calm under pressure, how to regain control of our emotions when chaos strikes, and how perspective can play a powerful role in diffusing emotional storms. By learning to maintain calm in chaos, we can navigate life's challenges with clarity and resilience. The power of perspective. One of the most powerful tools for staying calm in chaos is perspective. When we face a difficult or stressful situation, it's easy to become consumed by our emotions and lose sight of the bigger picture. We might feel like everything is falling apart or that the situation is insurmountable. However, by shifting our perspective, we can transform our experience and our response. A helpful way to shift perspective is to ask yourself, will this matter in a year from now? Often, in the heat of the moment, we may exaggerate the significance of a problem, making it seem more catastrophic than it actually is. When we step back and view the situation from a broader lens, we can often see that it's not as dire as it initially appeared. Another helpful tool is reframing the situation. Instead of thinking, "This is a disaster," try reframing it to, "This is a challenge I can handle," or "This is an opportunity to grow and learn." Shifting your mindset from one of fear or anxiety to one of empowerment and opportunity can help you maintain a sense of calm and focus, even when the situation is far from ideal. Breathing through the chaos. Breathing is one of the most effective ways to regain control of our emotions in chaotic situations. When we're stressed or anxious, our breathing tends to become shallow and rapid, which can further activate the body's stress response. Slow, deep breaths, on the other hand, signal to the brain that it's safe to relax, helping us to regain control of our emotions and calm the body's physiological response to stress. A simple but powerful breathing technique to use during moments of chaos is the 4-7-8 breath. Inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Repeat this cycle 3 to 4 times. This technique not only helps to calm the nervous system, but also brings you back to the present moment, reducing feelings of overwhelm and anxiety. By focusing on your breath, you create a mental and physical space between yourself and the chaotic situation, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Mindfulness in the midst of crisis. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and aware in the moment, without judgment. It is a powerful tool for staying calm in chaotic situations because it helps you detach from your immediate emotional reactions and observe the situation with greater clarity and calmness. When we practice mindfulness, we acknowledge the emotions and thoughts that arise, but we don't let them control us. One way to practice mindfulness in moments of chaos is to take a mental step back and observe the situation as if you're an outsider. Ask yourself, what's happening right now? What am I feeling? What can I control in this moment? By taking a step back and observing the situation objectively, you avoid getting swept up in the emotional intensity of the moment. This allows you to remain calm, think clearly, and choose your response more intentionally. Another helpful mindfulness technique is the body scan. Start by paying attention to your body, noting any areas of tension or discomfort. Consciously relax those areas, breathing deeply as you do. By focusing on the body, you can reduce physical tension and help ease the emotional intensity of the situation. Practical steps for maintaining composure. While breathing and mindfulness are powerful tools, there are also several practical steps you can take to help maintain composure in chaotic situations. Prepare for chaos before it happens. The more you practice staying calm in everyday situations, the easier it will be to maintain your composure in more challenging moments. Practice stress-reducing techniques such as deep breathing, mindfulness, and positive self-talk on a regular basis. When you build emotional resilience, you'll be better equipped to handle moments of crisis. Create a calm anchor. When chaos erupts, it can be helpful to have a personal anchor, something that brings you a sense of calm and stability. This could be a grounding object, like a stone or a piece of jewelry that you can hold or focus on to calm your nerves. Alternatively, it might be a mantra or phrase that you repeat to yourself, such as, "This too shall pass," or "I am in control of my response." Focus on what you can control. In chaotic situations, it's easy to become overwhelmed by everything happening around you. Instead of trying to control every aspect of the situation, focus on the things you can control: your thoughts, your breath, and your actions. By narrowing your focus to what's within your power, you reduce feelings of helplessness and regain a sense of control. Limit negative self-talk. When chaos strikes, it's common to hear negative self-talk, such as, "I can't handle this," or "This is too much for me." This kind of thinking only adds to the stress. Instead, replace these thoughts with more empowering statements such as, "I've handled difficult situations before," or "I am capable of managing this moment." Take action. In some situations, the best way to calm the chaos is to take immediate, purposeful action. If there's something you can do to resolve the issue or alleviate the stress, do it. Taking action gives you a sense of agency and helps you feel more in control of the situation. Even small actions can make a big difference in reducing feelings of helplessness or anxiety. The ripple effect of staying calm. Remaining calm during chaotic moments not only benefits your own emotional well-being, but also positively impacts those around you. When you stay composed in the face of adversity, you create a stable foundation for others to lean on. Your calm presence can help diffuse tension, provide clarity, and bring a sense of calm to the entire situation. Moreover, your ability to stay calm can inspire others to do the same. People tend to mirror the emotional states of those around them. When you model emotional control and resilience, you encourage others to adopt a similar approach. This creates a positive ripple effect, where emotional calm becomes contagious, leading to a more supportive and harmonious environment. Chapter 12. The Ripple Effect of Emotional Control. Mastering emotional control doesn't just change your own life. It has the power to influence and transform the lives of those around you. As we've explored in previous chapters, emotional control is about creating space between stimulus and response, managing triggers, and learning how to respond thoughtfully in all situations. But the true power of emotional control lies in its ability to affect not just the individual practicing it, but also the wider environment, your relationships, your workplace, your community, and even the world. In this chapter, we'll explore how emotional regulation can create a ripple effect, transforming all areas of life. By mastering emotions, you begin to influence others in positive ways, fostering an atmosphere of calm, understanding, and growth. We'll also share stories of individuals who achieved extraordinary success by learning to control their emotions and how you can apply these principles to inspire others. The power of emotional mastery in relationships. Emotions are contagious. Whether positive or negative, the emotions we experience and express have a profound impact on the people around us. If you've ever been in a room where someone is upset, angry, or stressed, you know how quickly those emotions can spread, affecting the entire atmosphere. Conversely, if you've been around someone who is calm, centered, and positive, it's likely that you felt a sense of relief or comfort in their presence. When you practice emotional control, you create a ripple effect that positively influences your relationships. The more you manage your emotions with self-awareness and compassion, the more likely you are to inspire others to do the same. For example, in a family dynamic, if one person remains calm during a heated argument, it can help others settle down, leading to a more constructive conversation. In the workplace, leaders who maintain emotional composure during high-pressure situations create an environment where employees feel supported, respected, and more willing to collaborate. Emotional control in leadership and workplace success. Leaders who have mastered emotional control have a unique ability to create an atmosphere of trust and collaboration. Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as the emotions of others, is a crucial component of effective leadership. Leaders who are calm, empathetic, and emotionally regulated are better able to inspire their teams, navigate difficult conversations, and foster an environment of open communication. One well-known example is the story of a CEO who transformed their company's culture by practicing emotional regulation. In the early days, the company faced a number of challenges, including internal conflicts, high turnover rates, and a general sense of disengagement among employees. The CEO, recognizing the impact of their own emotional state on the team, made a conscious effort to stay calm, communicate openly, and lead with empathy. Over time, this shift in emotional regulation trickled down to the rest of the company, improving morale, enhancing teamwork, and leading to measurable success. The ripple effect of emotional control in this case resulted in a thriving work culture, higher productivity, and stronger relationships across all levels of the organization. Emotional mastery in difficult situations. One of the most powerful ways emotional control creates a ripple effect is in the face of adversity. Life is filled with challenges, whether personal, professional, or societal. Yet, those who have developed the ability to remain calm under pressure not only handle the situation more effectively, but also influence others in profound ways. Take, for example, the story of a teacher who managed to stay calm and composed during a school crisis, such as a natural disaster or violent altercation. By demonstrating emotional control, this teacher created a sense of security and stability for students who were scared or confused. The students, in turn, felt more equipped to handle their emotions, reducing panic and helping them stay focused on staying safe. This principle applies to any high-stress situation, whether in personal life, work, or even in larger societal contexts. When you approach challenging moments with emotional poise, you not only set an example for others, but also create an environment where calmness and reason can prevail. People look to those who remain emotionally grounded in difficult times as a source of strength and guidance. The long-term impact of emotional control. The ripple effect of emotional control extends far beyond the immediate moment. In the long term, mastering your emotions helps create lasting change in both your own life and the lives of others. By consistently responding to situations with emotional regulation, you create healthier habits and build stronger, more resilient relationships. The benefits of emotional mastery ripple outward, creating a legacy of emotional intelligence that spreads across families, organizations, and communities. For instance, when you model emotional control in your personal life, your children or loved ones are more likely to adopt these same practices. This, in turn, can have a positive impact on future generations, creating a culture of emotional resilience that fosters growth, understanding, and well-being. Inspiring and influencing others through emotional mastery. Once you begin to master your own emotions, you'll find that your influence extends far beyond your immediate circle. Emotional control empowers you to inspire and lead others with compassion and clarity. People naturally gravitate toward those who are calm, centered, and emotionally grounded because they feel safe and supported in their presence. In the workplace, you may notice colleagues looking to you for guidance during times of stress, or in your social life, friends may seek your advice during tough moments. By modeling emotional mastery, you not only help others navigate their own emotional challenges, but also inspire them to take control of their emotional responses. Furthermore, emotional control plays a key role in conflict resolution. Whether it's a disagreement at work, a family issue, or a community dispute, the ability to stay calm and composed allows you to approach the situation with a clear mind. This can help de-escalate tensions, facilitate constructive dialogue, and lead to resolutions that are beneficial to all parties involved. Stories of success through emotional mastery. There are countless stories of individuals who have achieved extraordinary success through the practice of emotional control. One example is the story of a professional athlete who, after facing numerous setbacks in their career, learned how to master their emotions under pressure. By staying calm during critical moments, they were able to make decisions with clarity, improve their performance, and ultimately lead their team to victory. Their ability to regulate their emotions not only transformed their career, but also influenced their teammates to adopt a similar mindset, creating a culture of resilience and teamwork. Another inspiring story is that of an entrepreneur who faced immense financial struggles and personal challenges while building their business. Despite the overwhelming odds, they remained composed, focusing on solutions rather than stress, and gradually turned their company into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. By practicing emotional control, they not only achieved their goals, but also inspired their team to stay focused, even in the face of adversity. The ripple effect in your life. Emotional control is more than just a tool for personal growth. It is a transformative force that can change the world around you. As you learn to manage your emotions and respond with clarity, compassion, and resilience, you begin to create a ripple effect that touches everyone you encounter. By mastering emotional regulation, you not only improve your own life, but also inspire and influence others to do the same. In turn, this creates a cycle of positivity, growth, and connection that can elevate entire communities, workplaces, and relationships. As you continue on your journey to emotional mastery, remember that every moment of emotional control, no matter how small, contributes to the ripple effect that can transform your life and the lives of those around you. Your ability to stay calm in the face of chaos, manage triggers with awareness, and communicate with empathy and understanding will create lasting change, not only for yourself, but for the world you touch. Chapter 13. A New You, Sustaining Emotional Mastery. Emotional mastery is not a one-time achievement. It's a continuous journey of growth, self-awareness, and practice. As you move through life, you'll encounter new challenges, triggers, and emotional obstacles. The key to lasting change isn't in momentary success, but in the ability to sustain emotional control over the long term, even in the face of adversity. In this final chapter, we'll explore how to make emotional control a lifelong habit, create daily rituals that reinforce emotional mastery, and prepare for setbacks without losing momentum. You've made incredible strides by learning how to manage your emotions. Now it's time to turn this newfound mastery into a permanent part of your identity and lifestyle. Building lifelong habits of emotional control. The foundation of sustained emotional mastery lies in habit building. Like any skill, emotional regulation requires regular practice to stay sharp and effective. To make emotional control a lifelong habit, it's essential to integrate it into your daily routine, so it becomes second nature. Start by setting aside time each day for mindfulness, meditation, or self-reflection. These practices help you stay grounded and aware of your emotions, allowing you to catch negative patterns before they escalate. Whether it's a 5-minute morning meditation or journaling in the evening about your emotional experiences, these moments of introspection provide a daily check-in with yourself, reinforcing the practice of emotional awareness. In addition to mindfulness, incorporate breathing exercises into your day. Just as you breathe automatically, practicing intentional breathing can become a habit you rely on in moments of stress. Deep breathing, especially the techniques you've learned in previous chapters, helps lower the body's stress response and centers your mind. Over time, this becomes a tool you can reach for whenever you need to stay calm, whether in a high-pressure situation or during moments of emotional overwhelm. Daily rituals to reinforce. Emotional control. Rituals are powerful because they create structure and consistency in our lives. By creating daily rituals centered on emotional mastery, you reinforce your commitment to staying emotionally balanced, regardless of external circumstances. Here are some rituals that can help sustain your emotional mastery. Morning mindfulness. Begin each day with a few minutes of mindfulness or meditation. This sets the tone for the day and helps you start with clarity and emotional presence. Focus on your breath, visualize your goals, or reflect on your intentions for the day. This grounding practice ensures that you start your day with emotional control, rather than reacting impulsively to whatever comes your way. Gratitude. Practice. A daily gratitude practice helps you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right. Taking a moment each day to acknowledge the things you're grateful for not only boosts your mood, but also strengthens your emotional resilience. This practice helps you cultivate a positive emotional baseline, making it easier to handle challenges when they arise. Reflection and journaling. Set aside time in the evening to reflect on your day and your emotional responses. Journaling about your experiences allows you to process emotions, identify patterns, and celebrate your successes. Writing down what went well and areas for growth keeps you connected to your emotional journey and helps you stay on track. Breathing breaks. Incorporate short, intentional breathing breaks throughout the day, especially during moments of stress. Whether you take a few deep breaths between meetings or before responding to an emotionally charged situation, these breaks help you reset and maintain emotional control. Self-affirmations. Incorporating positive self-talk into your daily rituals reinforces the belief that you are capable of emotional control. Affirmations like, "I am in control of my emotions," or "I respond with calm and clarity," reinforce your new identity as someone who practices emotional mastery. Preparing for setbacks and maintaining progress. No journey is without its setbacks, and emotional mastery is no exception. There will be times when you slip, when you react impulsively, or when old emotional patterns resurface. This is part of the process. The key is not in avoiding setbacks, but in how you respond to them. When setbacks occur, avoid harsh self-criticism. Instead, view them as opportunities for growth. Recognize that emotional control is a skill, and like any skill, it requires patience and practice. Each time you fall short, you gain valuable insight into areas where you can improve. To maintain your progress, remind yourself of the reasons you embarked on this journey in the first place. Reflect on the benefits you've experienced so far: improved relationships, greater peace of mind, enhanced decision-making, and use those motivations to reignite your commitment to emotional mastery. It's also important to recognize that emotional mastery is not about perfection. Rather, it's about progress. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small, and continue to build on them. Every step you take toward emotional control strengthens your ability to respond to future challenges with clarity and poise. Creating a supportive environment for growth. Surrounding yourself with people who support your emotional growth is crucial to sustaining progress. Seek out relationships with individuals who encourage your emotional well-being and who also practice emotional control themselves. Having a supportive network reinforces your commitment and provides you with positive examples to model. Additionally, consider engaging in communities or groups that focus on emotional intelligence and personal growth. Sharing your experiences and learning from others can provide new perspectives and reinforce your emotional mastery. The impact of emotional mastery on your future. As you continue to cultivate emotional mastery, its benefits will expand across all areas of your life. The way you approach challenges, relationships, and decision-making will continue to evolve, creating a more peaceful and empowered life. Emotional control enhances your ability to navigate difficult situations with grace, which opens doors to new opportunities, stronger relationships, and personal growth. By consistently applying the tools and techniques you've learned in this book, you can continue to evolve into the best version of yourself. Sustaining emotional mastery isn't just about reacting calmly to external events. It's about creating an internal sense of peace, clarity, and emotional intelligence that lasts a lifetime. Emotional mastery is not an end goal, but a continuous journey that unfolds with every step you take. As you practice emotional control daily, you will begin to notice lasting changes in how you handle life's challenges. You will respond with intention rather than react impulsively, and cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience that empowers you to thrive in all areas of life. Now, with a solid foundation in emotional mastery, you are ready to face the world with greater confidence, wisdom, and compassion. Your journey to emotional freedom has only just begun. Each day presents a new opportunity to refine your skills, grow your emotional intelligence, and create a life of balance and fulfillment. The most important part of this journey is remembering that the power to shape your emotional world lies within you. Conclusion: your journey to emotional freedom. You've completed a transformative journey toward mastering emotional control, and what you've learned so far holds the potential to change your life in profound ways. As we reach the end of this audiobook, it's important to take a moment to celebrate the growth you've experienced. You've equipped yourself with the tools to better understand and manage your emotions, and in doing so, you've set yourself on the path toward a more fulfilled, intentional, and empowered life. Emotional control is not just about managing reactions or diffusing stress in the moment. It's about creating a life that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored how mastering your emotions leads to better decision-making, deeper relationships, improved mental health, and enhanced resilience. By applying the principles shared in these chapters, you now have the ability to handle life's challenges with a sense of calm, clarity, and confidence. The power of emotional control in creating a fulfilling life. You've learned that the secret to lasting change lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering your internal responses. Your emotions are a powerful force, and by harnessing them, you gain the ability to shape your reality. When you control your emotional responses, you take back the power to influence how you feel, think, and act, no matter what happens around you. Remember, emotional control is not a destination, but a process. As you continue your journey, you'll face new challenges and experiences, but now you have the tools to navigate them with greater wisdom. Every moment of emotional regulation, every breath taken mindfully, every pause in the face of a trigger strengthens your ability to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. Encouragement for ongoing growth. While this audiobook marks the end of this particular chapter in your journey, it's by no means the final step. Emotional mastery is an ongoing practice that requires dedication, self-reflection, and patience. Like any skill, it takes time and effort to maintain. The daily rituals of mindfulness, gratitude, journaling, and breathing exercises you've learned here will keep you grounded and on track. Don't forget that setbacks are part of the process. The goal isn't perfection but progress. Each time you slip or react impulsively, use it as an opportunity to reflect, adjust, and improve. With each new challenge, you have the chance to practice emotional regulation and come out stronger on the other side. Integrate these practices into your daily life. Remember that you're not just transforming your own world, you're also inspiring others to do the same. Your emotional control will ripple outward, affecting your relationships, your work, and your community. When you show up as the calm, centered, and emotionally intelligent person you've become, you invite others to embrace the same path of growth. Continue applying and refining your newfound mastery. As you move forward, keep applying the principles and exercises you've learned. Revisit the chapters and exercises when you need a refresher, and continue refining your emotional control. The more you practice, the more it becomes ingrained in who you are. Soon, responding with emotional awareness and control will become second nature. Whether you're navigating a difficult conversation, managing stress at work, or simply facing the ups and downs of everyday life, you now have the tools to face each moment with greater presence, understanding, and compassion. This is the power of emotional control. It not only transforms how you experience life, but also empowers you to create positive change in the world around you. Closing thoughts. A life of emotional freedom awaits. In the end, emotional mastery is about freedom, the freedom to live authentically, to respond with grace, to create the life you want, and to connect deeply with others. By mastering your emotions, you unlock the door to true emotional freedom, allowing you to step into each moment with confidence and purpose. Always remember, the most powerful tool you have is your ability to choose how you respond. With emotional control, you are no longer at the mercy of your reactions. You are the master of your emotions, and through that mastery, you shape your destiny. This is not the end of your transformation, but the beginning of a new chapter. The life you've always dreamed of, filled with peace, resilience, and emotional freedom, is within reach. Now go out and create that life, knowing that the emotional control you've cultivated will guide you every step of the way.